Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
How wonderful it is to be together. I think we're right at the moment when our group from cyberspace are joining us. We welcome them in wherever you are. We hope that you feel at home here at Shir Shalom, whether you're in your own home or you're actually here at our sanctuary. We have a wonderful service. We have Nick back here. We're so glad and grateful to have him. And now this is his third Jewish service. I think so. Maybe it's fourth at this point. Third, okay. All right, let's see. Oh, I got rid of my little menu here. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. We have a very special service tonight because we are going to be reading from Breshit, the very beginning of the Torah, like we did on Simchat Torah. So we're kind of begin our cycle once again. And why don't we come in by taking a nice deep breath. Let's breathe out everything from this week, all of that bad weather, and bring in all that good weather we got today. We'll breathe in all of that wonderful Bills victory the other day, and breathe out anything, all these Sabres losses. Are they winning? You know, it's gotten so they even on the newspaper they barely tell you if the Sabres win or not. You have to look in the second or third page, I think. So why don't we welcome Bruce Corris over here to officially welcome. Oh, what do you have over there?
I've got something special. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Ooh, I'm loud tonight.
Okay,
Hang on. I don't mind being loud. They don't mind it either.
Look at that. Look. Just a touch of the button?
Look at that.
Amazing.
Anyway, it's nice to have everyone here. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, he's going to make a joke about the fact that we should be outside because the weather's so nice. I'm not. You're welcome. Anyway, we could...
Shabbat no more?
Nope, no more shivering Shabbats. Nope. I'm moving on. We certainly could have used this weather last Saturday for walk-off hunger. This is what I'm holding in my hand. The Feed More people, we dedicated this year's walk to Jenny, and the Feed More people presented me with this plaque, which we will hang out there in our lobby somewhere, and it just says, Feed More Western New York honors Jenny Pohl in recognition of her many contributions to walk off hunger and her dedication to feeding her neighbors in need. Isn't that nice? We were small but mighty for walk off hunger. I don't see anyone here in the room that was there. It was, at one point, the rain was going this way. So, the Shir Shalom was well represented. We had a nice group there. And of course, we raised money for a very important cause, which is feeding the hungry in Western New York. So I want to thank anyone out there who was on the team or made a donation. We appreciate that. And look for this somewhere in the lobby. I will be back later with the announcements. We still have a lot of interesting and good stuff coming up in the coming weeks. And in the meantime, we have a lovely service tonight. We are still decorated for Sukkot and Simchat Torah, and that comes down, this is the last week with it.
Okay. How many of you have Halloween decorations or something?
I'll leave them up.
Yeah, we can leave them up. I think the new way of doing things is just leave them up as long as possible. If you notice, they start doing Halloween like in September now.
Oh, August. In August. And Rabbi mentioned that we just had Simchat Torah, and who was here for that? Wasn't that nice where we unrolled the Torah and went all around the room? It's such a treat to be able to do that again. Anyway, I'll be back a little later, but like I said, look for this somewhere in the lobby.
You know, Bruce, one time we had it out until Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
Because Sukkot was later, you know, and we just kept it through Thanksgiving.
Well, you know, the flowers could wilt a little bit. The gourds could... No, I think we're okay.
Yeah. We have a very sad, wilted pumpkin on the front that my daughter carved. We're ready for our opening song. Let's bring in Shabbat with Ma Yafeh Hayom on page 128.
Ma Yafeh Hayom, yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom, ma yafe hayom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Let's turn back in our Siddur, in our prayer book, to page 126, and we'll read together in English. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, and no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other. To work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us and to bring that vision to life. So often we come to services and for some unexplained reason, we leave and we feel happier, we feel more settled. There's something about coming together, singing together, being present, and just feeling good in community that really can be very transformative. And I hear it from many of you. I think it's sort of the secret sauce the rabbis and other religious communities pass down to us as a way of understanding that we feel more fulfilled when we're together and really sharing the space together, whether virtually or in person. We're going to turn to our candle lighting on page 120. And I'm looking around, see if there's anyone that would be brave enough to light our lights tonight. Let's see, Donna, would you like to come up and light our candles over here? Yeah, Donna. There should be matches right there in front of you. Donna is one of our most loyal service goers. I think she rarely misses a service, certainly a virtual one. Just put it on the mic. And Cantor will lead us in the prayer on 120.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
May the lights of our beautiful Shabbat candles light our way through this week. Erev, why don't I have you come over here and just lift up our Kiddush cup? And we'll do the Kiddush on... Oh, we got two Erevs there. Erwin and Erev. Okay, whichever one you want. Erwin.
I think this happened a couple weeks ago.
You can go, please.
No, you guys should come up together.
I love it. They might never have met each other. Do you guys know each other? You probably don't. Okay. Kiddush at page 123. That's how friendships are built.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron מקומי בשעת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. Amen.
L'chaim. I was getting chills there. It's so wonderful to hear both of you, Erwin and Irv, leading our Kiddush. It's beautiful. Thank both of you. Now I could just call up, if I call out Harvey or something. Are there more? Yeah, Beth Senick will get a lot. Why don't we welcome Shabbat in, page 138 with L'chadodi. We'll sing the first and the last verse together. On the last verse, we rise and we face our doorway over there. We bow to Shabbat as she enters, and we welcome one another with our kingly and queengly waves.
Lecha lecha dodi, likat likat gala, pene pene Shabbat nikamela. Lecha lecha dodi, likat likat gala, pene pene Shabbat nikamela. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, likat likat gala, pene pene Shabbat nikamela. Lecha lecha dodi, likat likat gala, pene pene Shabbat nikabela. Shamo v'zachor b'dibbur echad, hishmiyanu elam echad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, Shemo tiferet v'nitgila la 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 la. Echad odi nikat nikat gala, pnei pnei Shabbat nikabela. Echad echad odi nikat nikat gala, pnei pnei Shabbat nikabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, gam b'simcha ובסעולה, טוב כמוני עם סיגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך לך דודי, לקט לקט גלה, פני פני שבת מקבלה. חדודי, לקט לקט גלה, פני פני שבת מקבלה. לה 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 לה. לך דודי, לקט לקט גלה, פני פני שבת מקבלה. לך לך דודי, לקט לקט גלה, פני פני שבת
We remain standing for our call of worship, our call of prayer, page 146, the Baruch Hu.
La 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 la, ya la 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 la, la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. La 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 la, la 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 la.
remain standing, page 150, Ahavat Olam.
אהבת עולם ואת ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו לאורך ימינו ובהם נגן יום הלילה ואהבתך התסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
Page 152.
שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד 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 ברוך שם כבוד ומלכותו לעולם ועד ברוך שם כבוד ומלכותו לעולם ועד everyone שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד.
You may be seated. We turn to the V'ahavta on page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם באות בידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם המזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
So we turn towards the Michamocha, which is on page 158. I'd like to share a poem that I read last night for our Buffalo Corner reading series. If you haven't ever attended our Buffalo Corner reading series, Ganilla Kester is the organizer. It's a wonderful opportunity to hear amazing poets and writers in the area right here in our Shir Shalom sanctuary. So this is one that I read last night. It's from a collection called Wildflowers and Fireflies. And it's about my trips with my sister trying to keep up with my father on a bike ride. It's called The Last Hill. One more hill, my father yells from the rear of our group. The biking club is filled with people equipped with proper biking gear. They streak by, seemingly unencumbered by the Earth's gravitational pull. My sister and I, on the other hand, push up the winding road, dreading the elevation. Cars zoom by us as we teeter on the edge of the road. Slowly, a top emerges, and we collapse into the cement. We are off again. They had waited for us long enough. For a stretch, other hills appear, up and down, until we cannot help feeling like a yo-yo. The gears in my bike squeak with age. I am ready to remove myself from this contraption. We catch up to my father. Only one more hill, he repeats. What were those, optical illusions? But he is gone again, leaving us to navigate the roads. We are both walking our bikes at this latest challenge, feeling defeated. I realize my father and I might have a different definition of what a hill is. Awkwardly back on the bike, I pedal into the center of the road, a car nearly knocking me over, but I will my body to push on. Eventually reaching the top, everyone else already there twiddling thumbs. Only 2 more hills, my father says now. He is sure of it. We laugh, knowing there is always another hill to climb. True story. So we think about that in all of our various accomplishments, whether it was difficult for us or easy, as we turn to the Michamocha 158.
Try this with me. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi kamocha vayli madonai, mi kamocha nedava kudesh norati lo.
And now we're going to turn to one of, I think, our favorite songs for Shabbat, Yismechu B'Malachutecha, page 162.
Yismechu B'Malachutecha, Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat, V'korei Yonei Shabbat.
Shomrei, Shomrei, Shomrei Shabbat,
ועשית בו וקידשת שבת, אמנות יבין, אותו קראת שבת, שבת ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, זכר למעשה בראשית שבת, שבת ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי, שומרי, שומרי שבת וקוראי עונג שבת.
Invite you to rise as we turn to our silent meditation starting on 164, and we'll continue through the end of the prayers on 180. Take this opportunity for your own thoughts and prayers, the Hebrew, the English, or whatever's in your heart, and whenever you're ready, you may be seated. We were so busy talking to one another, we didn't realize everyone was seated. So in just a couple of minutes, we're going to read one of the most important sections ever written, I would say, which is the beginning of the Torah. It's probably the section of the Torah that's the most important. But before we get there, I want to ask everyone a question. Have you ever asked a question that you knew you couldn't possibly answer, but you had to ask it, and you still had to investigate it? Have you ever done that? Yeah, I see some. Okay, this is what my children do all the time. How does that happen? They will look at something. Candles, where did they come from? yeah, like I know everything, right? But the kids today, they grow up with Google, the internet. They actually believe they can solve it. They think that if you just type it in there, the answer will be there. It's unbelievable. So I was listening on the radio, just in the car. It was just a couple of minutes, so I came in on the middle of the program. And it was a question and answer where a scientist was answering any question that children asked. And the children could ask anything. So I heard the first question that was asked, and the question was, if you could walk to how long would it take to walk from one end of the galaxy to the other? I thought, well, there's no way he's going to answer this. You can't walk through space, so I don't even understand the question. But the scientist was wonderful. He actually answered the question. He said, well, we factored this, we factored that, and it's something around 20 zeros. I don't even know what that's called. I'll have to look that up, but it goes well beyond billions and trillions and quadrillions. This is way out there. He started explaining exactly how this could happen if you were trying to go to just walk the space of the galaxy. I thought, well, this is interesting. I'm not sure. But the commentator asked him, why? Why do you answer questions that are impossible? And he said something to the effect of, by trying to answer the impossible, it allows us to answer the possible. It kind of builds the skills necessary to be able to ask the questions that we really need to ask. Human beings are incredible that we ask questions that are so beyond our capacity, that even 100, 200 years from now, 1,000 years from now, we may never come up with an answer to that. And actually, what's here at the beginning of the Torah, that first section about creation, is one of those questions. People are asking, not only how did we get here, human beings? How did animals? How did the earth get here? They want to know, how did everything begin? Every single thing begin. How did God begin? How did it all start? This is not a question, no matter how big a telescope we build, that we will ever have a complete answer for. But we still ask that over and over again until, like today, with the Webb telescope, we get closer and closer to being able to answer that. Rashi, actually, our famous commentary from the 11th century, a French commentator, he actually says, why? Why are we starting here? Why are we asking these questions? This is our Jewish book. The Torah is about us, and you're beginning here with the days of creation. Why does that matter? Why not start with Abraham and Sarah? That's the beginning of our journey. Why do we need to know anything before? And you know what Rashi says? Rashi says, well, the Goyim, the non-Jews, they might say, well, this is your book and not our book. That maybe that if we start all the way at the beginning, they'll know this is a God for everyone. So this is a question that is deeper than just what we ask as Jews. This is a question that we ask as human beings. Maybe since the very first time that we were writing about anything, we were asking these questions. So I actually brought with me a couple of creation myths. I'm just going to read you snippets, and I hope when Cantor chants the beginning of Genesis, that it kind of connects it, that this is not just us asking this question. This is a basic human drive to ask the impossible in order to be able to have the skill to answer the possible. So first, the very first one we probably have an account is from Acadia, the Enuma Elish, the beginning. You probably read this before. When skies above were not yet named, nor earth below pronounced by name, Apsu, the first one, their begetter, and maker Tiamat, who bore them all, had mixed their waters together, but had not formed pastures, nor dissolved reed beds, when yet no gods were manifest, nor names pronounced, nor destinies decreed. Then gods were born within them. It's so beautiful. I feel the same way about the Torah's language. There's something just in the language. This is a Brazilian myth that also goes back quite a bit. It's from the Sinsu tribe. In the beginning, there was only Mavutsinen. No one lived with him. He had no wife, he had no son, nor did he have any relatives. He was all alone. One day he turned a shell into a woman, and he married her. When his son was born, he asked his wife, "Is it a man or a woman?" "It is a man. I'll take him with me." Then he left. The boy's mother cried and went back to her village, the lagoon, where she turned into a shell again. "We are the grandchildren of Avutsinen's son," say the Indians. So interesting, right? There's some elements of all of them. I mean, partially it's the translation. In the beginning, you start getting that. But this idea, how does it start? How do we have that first family? And then I have Aristotle. This is what it says, and Aristotle is incredibly complicated to read. This is from Heaven's book 2, section 1. That the heaven as a whole neither came into being nor admits of destruction, or some assert, but is one and eternal, with no end or beginning of its total duration, containing and embracing in itself the infinity of time. That pretty much explains it, right? And finally, I have from the physicist Neil deGrasse Tyson. This is how he says it. He has a beautiful way of describing it. This is how scientists describe the beginning. In the beginning, nearly 14 billion years ago, all the space and all the matter and all the energy of the known universe was contained in a volume less than 1/1,000,000th the size of the period that ends this sentence. Conditions were so hot, the basic forces of nature that collectively describe the universe were unified. Though still unknown how it came into existence, this sub-pinpoint size cosmos could only expand rapidly in what we call now the Big Bang. And that is our scientific story. We continue to tell stories, and they get a little bit more refined. I mean, that's amazing. The size of a period on your page, that is how big the universe was. And we get to the point where we can even explain up into them. There's a lot of things in that are hard to imagine or fathom, that we'll never see or witness, but we can ask the questions. How wonderful it is for human beings to continue to ask. We need to ask, no matter our age, whether we are children or adults, wherever we are in our life, continue to ask. Don't be afraid to ask, as your teacher always told you. There's no stupid questions, right? Ask the questions, and maybe we'll together try to find it. And if not now, sometime in the future, they'll eventually have answers. But questioning, we can continue to do right now and right here. So we are ready for the Torah service, and we have a Torah over here. I was wondering, Sherry Jo, would you like to hold our Torah? Sure. And we're going to turn to page 366 for the Torah service itself. Why don't you come into the center? We're going to invite you. Oh, you could go on that side. No, hold the blue one. We're still figuring things out here. So I invite you to rise as the Torah rises, and do you want to lead us in the Shema over there? And I'll bring a prayer book down.
Ask me to sing.
That's a question. I'll do it with you.
They're going to respond?
Yeah.
Okay. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo. Lecha Adonai Hagedun HaGevura V'Tiferet V'Hanetzach V'Chachon Ki Chol B'Shamayim U'Haaretz Ki Chol B'Shamayim U'Haaretz Lecha Adonai HaMamlaka V'Amid Naseh Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu L'har Kodesh. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu L'har Kodesh. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu L'har Kodesh. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu.
You may be seated. As this is our first reading of the year, our first official reading, why don't we rise for it? The prayer is on page 370, I believe. And in the Chumash, some of you will have the Pentateuch, the entire selection in front of you. It should be on page 2, I guess. Page 2. It should be on the 368's the blessing. And we'll be reading on page 2. It would be in the seats in front of you if you wanted to follow along. My son, after we stretched out the Torah all the way, he said, "What would it happen if you had the Torah in a book?" I said, "Well, we have it in a book." He said, "Huh? See, questions, okay." So let's do it together. Cantor, do you need help down there?
I'm good.
Yamdu kol hakihila, baruchu et Adonai hamvorach, baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam vaed, baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, v'natan lanu et torato, baruch atah Adonai noten
Amen. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ve'haaretz. Hayta tov v'vohu v'choshech ha'pnei tehom v'ruach Elohim v'rachafet ha'pnei hamayim. Vayomer Elohim yi or Vayor Elohim et ha'or ki tov vayavdel Elohim ben ha'or uven ha'choshech vayikra Elohim la'or yom v'la'choshech kara layla vayir vayavoker yom echad vayomer Elohim והיא רקיעה בתוך המים, והיא מדיר במים למים, ויעשה אלוהים את הרקיע ויתר בין המים אשר מתחת הרקיע ובין המים אשר מעל הרקיע, ויחן. ויקרא אלוהים לרקיע שמיים, ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום שני.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Yesher koach. Beautiful job, Cantor. And how wonderful. If after services anyone wants to see the beginning of the Torah, I'll be happy to, Cantor and I, or one of us will be happy to show you so you can see that very, very first words there. You may be seated. We'll turn now to our prayer of healing, our Mishaberach. It's on page 371. I'm going to read our list here. As a community, we are thinking about Rachel Anderson, Lynn Bass, Mark Clay, Ellie Bergman, Gary Bernstein, Stephen Bernstein, Joseph Dash, Drew Dembowitz, Friar Droivich, Gary Philippone, Ed Fine, Sue Frank, Antonio Franzen, Lester Frank, Leslie Garfinkel, Marlene Glickman, Rochelle Goodman, Sharon Gray, Irene Green, Dennis Halpin, Connie Heitner, Paula Jones, Bharat Kelly, Mark Nightinger, Jill Kalaga, Joe Malucci, Patricia Newton, Jill Shire Monahan, Ann Oppenheim, Cheryl Rossi, Brandon Ryan, Joyce Seitz, Carol Silverman, William Scretany, Nicholas Warren Tepper, Adam Tinlin, Kristen Walker, Anita Wiesel, Mike Wheeler, Christine Zalowiski, Avram Ben Rivka, Aviva Bat Shoshana, Hannah Ezra Ben Shual. We'll go around if you have other names.
Madeline's got my neighbor next door, and Roberta Friedman.
Michael Bernstein and Melissa Solomon.
Joanne Kara. Roy Close.
We'll take all those names into our hearts as we sing the Misha Barak again, page 371.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit. Let us say Amen.
A complete healing of body and soul. I invite you to rise as we put our Torah away symbolically on page 374 with a tree of life.
ain't over till it's over.
I always have to take a pause. I don't want to overstep it. We turn to Aleinu, page 586. It's not enough for us just to pray together. We need to go out and do good works together.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הרצון, ולא זמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ובודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
591.
ונעמה והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושלום 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 אחד.
You may be seated. We turn to our mourner's cottage, and we're grateful to hold a space to recognize those that are no longer with us. It's a really important duty that we have in a community to keep the lights bright and to make sure that we honor the souls of those that we've loved and the names that have been passed down to us through the generations. We had a recent loss today, Sonia Breitbart. I just learned of her loss. There will be funeral service upcoming, but we're very sad for her family, Alyssa, Lynn, and Jeff, her children. May their mom's name always be for a blessing. We are also remembering the Shloshim for Grace Gluck. Joe, how do you pronounce that? Gluck, okay. That's Joe's stepmother. Nancy Schiller and Janet Sirota. On our yard site list from years past, we remember Joshua Anbar, John W. Atkinson, Mary Jane Atkinson, Esther Bates, Seymour Berger, Virginia Bergman, Gloria Berzone, Moisey Bronston, Michael Berwick, Sarah Cohen, Bernie Davis, John S. Fine, Rana Gallman, Alan Gilman, Elliot Goldman, Eleanor Baumler Gordon, Benjamin Green, Lois Hale, Dora Heskins, Mark G. Hirschhorn, Giddel Hutner, Peter Q., Irving Korn, Morton Levy, Albert Markel, Herman Nadel, Sarah Pliss, Arthur Reichard, Ida Sibror, Helen J. Silver, Minnie Baker Silverman, Sylvia Simon, Dr. Barnett Slepian, Mark Suchman, Ruben Sunshine, Stephen E. Sweet, Louis Tobkin, William Trehaft, and Joan Zinderman. If you have other names you'd like to offer, just raise your hand. All those whose custom it is to rise, please rise, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach urtei v'yamlik malchutei, v'chayechon v'yamachon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach li'olam olmei maya, yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, v'yitalev, v'yitalal, shemei dekudasha, b'rechu, leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tush b'chata v'nechamata, damiran v'yalma v'yimaru, amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shemaya, Chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imra amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imra amen. May the one who creates harmony and high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all the world, and we say, Amen. You may be seated. Zikronam livracha. May their memories always be for a blessing. I'd like to invite up Bruce Chorus again to offer our announcements.
Shabbat shalom again, everyone. Thank you to Mark Nightinger and Sheila Bernard Tucker, our service greeters this evening, our friendly service greeters. We appreciate that. Mark's lying about me, though. Whatever, if he tells you something, do not believe it. Thank you to Rabbi Alex Cantor-Frank and Nick Stelter for a beautiful service tonight. Your third service. They've all been different, every single one. We do settle into a routine at one point, so just you'll be okay. Tomorrow morning, virtual. We have Torah study at 9, Shabbat morning service, and the virtual Kiddush luncheon at 11. They are both via Zoom. Website has the links. The women of Shir Shalom have their discussion group Thursday night at 7 o'clock via Zoom. This discussion the topic is interfaith relationships. Participants can read or watch any related material to discuss. Let Joel Hamilton know if you are interested in joining. That's a really good topic for us. I mean, our congregation is about half interfaith relationships. So it's a really important topic and a good one. Thank you, Joel, for arranging that. Thank you to Dan Kester for organizing the men's group speaker series this past Sunday. This was the Danube River Cruisers coming back and talking. Chris and Julia Cohan presented a PowerPoint. Others, Carol got up and spoke, and others contributed. It was really interesting, and we were back in person, and he served bagels and lox. I mean, it was a win-win-win situation. The next men's group meeting is going to be Sunday, November 20th. Brian Kern from the Amherst Police Department will be speaking, so that should be very interesting. The women of Shir Shalom have their Becker Farms fundraiser. It is back this year. Pies and fudge. The orders are due only by November 2nd. That's not far away. So get your orders in quickly. Talk to Sheila Bernard Tucker if you have any questions. Speaking of the women of Shir Shalom, rummage sale. The rummage sale is back on Sunday, November 6th. It's from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. If you have anything to donate or you would like to volunteer, watch for details. Talk to Sheila, talk to Maureen Seitz if you see her. But it's a great opportunity to clean out your house. Just get rid of all that stuff. But be careful. You don't want to go too far overboard when you're cleaning out your house. Last year, Rabbi dropped off like 6 bins of stuff. He said, Asher and I were really busy cleaning out the house, and we opened the bins, and Noam was in one of them. So we do want to be careful not to be too efficient when we clean out our house. But that's Sunday, November 6th, and it is a really important fundraiser for the women of Shir Shalom. It's their big fundraiser of the year, and of course it allows them to do many of the things that they do for Temple. We have other upcoming events in the service leaflet. Be sure to check them out, take that home, put it up on your refrigerator. If you need anything at all, feel free to reach out to the rabbi, the cantor, Joanne, Todd, or myself. We are here for you. Help yourself to the onig as you walk out the door. If you would like to sponsor an onig for any reason or for no reason whatsoever, talk to Joanne. Shabbat Shalom, and again, thank you for being part of this really wonderful Shir Shalom family.
Thank you so much, Bruce. All right, we are going to conclude with Adon Olam on page 625. And let's see, a lot of the prayers have so many different melodies attached to them, right?
Yes, well, I had mercy on poor Nick. I said, let's do the Adon Olam we did 2 weeks ago. So we're trying to recycle things so I don't keep throwing so much music at him. So we're doing the French Sephardic one that we did a couple weeks ago. Pretty one. And I hope you enjoy it and sing along. Adon Olam Hashem Malach B'terem kol Yitzir nivra V'yit nasa B'chefzo kol Hazai Melech Shemo nikra Hazai Melech Shemo nikra V'yacharei
Very nice. Donna, since we had you come up for the candle lighting, why don't you come up, and the challah is going to be yours. So just take off the cover there and lift it up, and we'll do hamotzi together. Probably go on the other side of that. Yeah, candles and challah don't go together. Oh, we still have a high holiday one there. Look at that. So you want to lift it up? And that is yours to keep afterwards. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. As you came in peace, may you leave in peace. Please return your prayer books, minus the leaflets, to the front of the sanctuary. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.